Pre-algebra, no. Foundations of Algebra students, how's it going today? In case you don't know me, my name is Miss La Rosa. I'm one of the other Foundations of Algebra teachers, and today we're going to be talking about powers of 10. So powers of 10, remember that word powers? That's just another way to say the word exponents. So we're going to be giving the number 10 exponents. We're going to give exponents a base of 10. We reviewed exponents a little bit ago, but in case you forget, 10, my base is my big number. And then my exponent is this little number up top. A little number up top. So remember that exponent is the number of times I multiply my base over and over and over again. So 10 to the 0 power, any number to the 0 power is just equal to 1. I'm not multiplying 10 times anything, I just have that number 1. 10 to the first power means I'm multiplying 10 once. So there's nothing to multiply it by. 10 to the second is equal to 100 because that means that we're taking 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 to the third power is 1,000 because that's equal to 10 times 10 times 10. What do you think 10 to the fourth power is? 10,000 because we did 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. We're going to pause there. If you need to pause the video to catch up, pause the video to catch up. But I want to take a look at something. Are you guys noticing a pattern with these powers of 10? Take a look at the exponents and the numbers that follow. Take a look at the exponent with those numbers that follow. The number of the exponent is how many zeros there are. 10 to the fourth power, we have 4 zeros. 10 to the third power, we have 3 zeros. 10 to the second power, 2 zeros. 10 to the first power, we have 1 zero. 10 to the 0 power, we don't have any zeros. So just from looking at that pattern, how many zeros are going to be in my answer on 10 to the fifth? How many zeros there? 5 zeros, because I'm multiplying 10 5 times. So we would get 100,000 because there should be 5 zeros because we're multiplying 10 5 times. Ten to the sixth power would be how many zeros? 6. What number is this? That's a million. That's a million. So that means we multiplied 10 6 times. Remember, in the US, the commas help us see place value. Commas and decimals are switched in other countries. So here, the decimal is only to show the ones compared to the tenths. Don't get confused with those decimals and those commas. 10 to the seventh would be 10 million, which would be multiplying times 10 7 times. I ran out of space on the side, that's okay. 10 to the eighth power would be 100 million, multiplying times 10 8 times. It's a lot of zeros. And the last one, we have 1 trillion. Very, very, very big number, 1 trillion. It's multiplying times 10 9 times. So go ahead, pause the video if you need to. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on going. So again, that pattern that we saw with the powers of 10 would be that the exponent shows the number of zeros in the answer. The exponent shows the number of zeros in the answer. This first number is called exponential form. This is called standard form, the way that we're used to seeing numbers. And this is expanded form. We again saw exponential, standard, and expanded form when we reviewed exponents. So if you need to take a look back at those notes, please take a look back at those. Again, if you need to pause the video, rewind, see anything again, please go and feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to move on now to negative powers of 10. Powers of 10 was a review from 6th grade. Negative powers of 10 are new for 7th grade. So with negative powers of 10, things are looking the exact same. It's just now we're going to have negative exponents instead of positive exponents. Our base is still going to be 10, still 10 raised to some power. And we're going to see what negative exponents do to our numbers. So first you'll see we have 10 to the negative 1. 10 to the negative 1 is 1/10, or 0.1. What happened with 10 to the negative 1 compared to just 10 to the regular 1? It turned it into a fraction. It made a reciprocal of that number. Remember, reciprocals when we flip the numerator and the denominator. So negative exponent means that we're going to have fractions or decimal numbers. Negative exponents show really, really, really small numbers, and positive exponents show really, really big numbers. So 10 to the negative second would be 1 over 100. 10 to the negative 3 would be 1 over 1,000. 10 to the negative 4 would be 1 over 10,000. 10 to the negative 5 would be 1 over 100,000. 10 to the negative 6 would be 1 over 1 million. 10 to the negative 7 would be 1 over 10 million. And then 10 to the negative 8 would be 1 over 100 million. So before we go in and we fill in all these other decimals, what patterns do we see with the fractions? What patterns do we see with the fractions? The fractions denominator has the same number of zeros as the exponent. The fractions denominator has the same number of zeros as the exponent. 10 to the negative 1, 1 zero. 10 to the negative 2, 2 zeros. 10 to the negative 4, 4 zeros. 10 to the negative 6, 6 zeros. 10 to the negative 8, 8 zeros. So it's the same number, it's just flipped in a fraction now. Now it's just flipped in a fraction. Let's see if we can find a pattern with the decimals. 10 to the negative 1, we have 0.1. 1 0. 10 to the negative 2, 0.01. 2 zeros. 10 to the negative 3, what do you think that's going to be? 0.001. 3 zeros. We've got the decimal after the first one. And that's how it's going to be. The same number of zeros, it's just you have a decimal after the first one. Here my exponent's 4. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. I've just got to throw my decimal in there. 10 to the negative 5, 1 0, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, and then a 1. 10 to the negative 6, 1 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a 1. 10 to the negative 7, 1 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then my 1. And then to the negative 8, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros still. So as long as you have that exponent, as long as you can count how many zeros there are, you'll be able to make those connections. So the decimals, the decimals zeros are the same as the exponent if you put a decimal after the first 0. If you need to, go ahead, pause this video, make sure that you've got everything written down before I show you the expanded form, for negative powers of 10. So the way that this looks in expanded form, before we were multiplying times 10, but because we have the negative exponent now, we're multiplying times a 1/10 fraction. So here, this would just be that fraction 1/10. Here, this would be 1 over 10 times 1 over 10. 1/10 times 1/10. This would be 1/10 times 1/10 times 1/10. Here, 1/10, 4 times, because our exponent is negative 4, the negative makes it a fraction, and the 4 says I multiply it 4 times. So let's go ahead and write this expanded form out for all of these fractions. All right. So those are our notes for positive and negative powers of 10. Please check in with your teachers now to ask any questions that you might have. And then if you're ready, go ahead and do the knowledge check to see where you're at. Good luck.